Oh, nice. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Minecraft Musings. I thought for sure I was going to have to delete uh, a previous episode to make room for this one, because I like to write it right close to the line, like a lot of people. Let's see, so it's about that time. We needed about 9:20. Roll it back a couple. All right. So, anyways, we left off yesterday. We're building this. Th- oh, sorry. Hold on. I got hiccups. Just so very excited. So, anyways, we got this settlement going. Let's see, do I have anything that pressing that I need? No. I mean, lime dye. Let's go ahead and take that. I do have a whole smelting operation back at the main base for that. But yeah, now we've got a couple bases going on. So, anyways, we ended yesterday talking about the four main types of behavior. Not all, and that's one of the biggest things. Is like a lot of people learn these things through therapy and through counseling and through. I think I specifically learned this the first time through a career coaching class or like a life coaching class, um, which we really need a lot of that in schools. Like, because every kid. Now we need to be careful though, because I did see something that Elon retweeted the other day, and normally I have to take Elon's opinions with a big grain of salt. Why? Well, because he's uber wealthy, and the problems that he encounters are not the same problems that you and I encounter, us average normies on the bottom. But he is a very smart guy. He's a smart guy, but you got to be careful because he's also trying to round up engagement for his product he just bought. He needs more people talking, more people. It doesn't matter good or bad. He just needs more people talking, more people engaging. That gets more advertisement space. That sells more things. It's a capitalistic machine. Now, he is a smart guy. He does concern himself with humanity. We all do. But he's also concerned with preserving his nice throne, as all rich people do. Um, and that's the kind of the thing, the real versus perceived nature of things. Hold on, I don't even know what I'm doing right now. I had so many thoughts. I gotta kind of like take a sec, woo-saw, calm down. Because the things that we're talking about in here are human psychology. It's your psychology, it's my psychology. And I have a very brief and introductionary education on all of it, including substance use education. I had a bit of rehab therapy back in the day. Not for any particular substance, it was actually for criminal thinking, which was hilarious to me. Because now I'm a white hat. I'm a white hat ethical cybersecurity professional, meaning I do know how to hack a little bit. I'm not great at it, but I mean, I could hack into some systems. In fact, my capstone. Yeah, get away from here, Ocelot. Go away. Go away. These are not your chickens. Go away. Alright, well, we're gonna have to do this the hard way. No, thank you. I hate that because I love kitty cats. And you, what are you doing in here? Are you all just trying to attack these poor chickens? Get away. Get away. Okay, anyways, I don't think the parrots could, but the whole point of this is I needed a chicken farm. I turned my back for a second, I come back and two of them are dead. The kids are alive, so that's okay, I guess. It was kind of like a sad Bambi moment. So now I gotta, like, do this. And let's actually give you some more room, but first let's breed you. Let's go ahead and get another one out of here. And then let's go ahead and... Oh, shoot, no! They're so fragile. Okay, we gotta be careful because... And also, I don't want... I don't know how I'm gonna keep... That's gonna be interesting. Okay, not a whole lot of room. And I'm sorry, I just killed your parent. I made the whole... Okay, whatever. We might have a hard time with a chicken farm in the jungle. That's kind of like a blind spot. So, anyways, well, and I guess I'm hesitant to go too deep into that sort of talk because I'm worried about what my public image is going to be. And I guess it's very silly because I actually had a bit of a mental breakdown on the Facebooks I've seen a lot of people have glorious and spectacular meltdowns on Facebook, which is it's good and bad. Like it's good because then we can actually start seeing these things and understanding that people are coping with their interactions in life in different ways. You know, some healthy, some not healthy. Mine was very unhealthy, and it came from sleep deprivation. I was prescribed Adderall, and so I was working really hard. And I hate that because now in my medical record it has abused stimulants. It shall forever be marked that I abused stimulants, and the only way I abused them was okay. Let me back up a little bit. So I was diagnosed with ADHD, bipolar, and depression on a test that I lied my butt off. And I like how people say that, oh no, those tests detect if you're lying. I thought very carefully. I've had different personas, like fake ones, for many years. Like, I remember this all started back, like, not really catfishing, like, I wasn't out there dating random guys on the internet and stuff like that, but catfishing. Like, becoming someone you're not. When you're on the internet and playing StarCraft with people in just text lobbies, you can be anyone. You could be anywhere. You can be anything. Like, and of course, a lot of people, it was like, 90% of the stuff was just BS and people called it out right away. And they were just like, nah, no, and stuff like that. And there's a lot of heated things too, like people trying to fight each other. And, keyboard warriors, like you talk really big behind a keyboard because nothing's going to happen to you. Okay, come on, we need to get you to safety. You're going to get attacked by an ocelot. Come on, it is for your safety. It's interesting that it spawned. And I think sometimes there's glitches. Like, okay, come on. There we go. Okay. Let's have another chicken. And then and this is messed up. I found that I have a better chance of chickens being hatched from thrown eggs if you throw them at a soft landing. I don't have the science to back that up. It seems kind of messed up. I just feel like that's what it is from my observing things, but it could be very wrong. Let's go ahead and leave these seeds here. Um, But yeah, no, I mean, we aren't going to be able to better treat each other if we don't understand ourselves, what makes us tick, what makes us happy, and then try to do moderation. Again, it all goes back to South Park. There's the Mr. Mackey episode where, I don't know, baby ocelot, get out of here. No, stop terrorizing them. How do I keep ocelots away? I mean, aside from the just gruesome murdering them, but I'll have to figure that out. I mean, or not, or just keep them because they're very important. I need them for feathers for my books. Just kidding. I guess I don't really need them, but I don't want to. I like to have like a farm wherever I go, so I don't have to go all the way back to the other one. So I guess we also need a map room. I mean, that's pretty sad so far, that just platform out there, but I like it. I might take away the thing and then have something floating and then have like a water bridge connecting them, having a nice wizard's shack in the middle of because they have witches' huts everywhere. But a wizard or a sorcerer's, which should really be both sexes. Anyways, actually, whoops. I guess we should be writing some of this down. Mental wellness. So let's go ahead and talk about mental wellness. So, and I've been to a few mental facilities. During that breakdown, it was a very rough time. I mean, and it was very strange. So, see, mental wellness. The main concerns are depression. So just depression. I'm so bad without spell check because I have it. I'm used to just spinning something on the paper and hoping it comes close, and then the computer will help me out. And it's horrible. Like I grew up learning how to spell like every kid, and but it's tools are great, but we can't forget the underlying. Well, I mean we have tools. So the main concerns are depression, PTSD, and addiction. Everything else is kind of falls into those three things and addiction. Because and substance use and substance abuse. Now, addiction. Now, and we'll talk a lot about that. But I mean, those are the main concerns. At least when I was in those, I was in three mental facilities, trying to get my meds balanced out, and that's really the dangerous thing. So, let's see. Sometimes the medication. Oh, my Wi-Fi was lost. That's okay. I don't need that for this. I'm recording offline. That's the other part about this when login issues strike. This is also for when I don't have internet, which is very rare. Especially considering I grew up in the times of dial-up up in the mountains of Buena Vista. We had Amigo.net. It was great for what we at the time, but playing StarCraft with people all around the world, I remember it was ever since third grade, so 1997. Yeah, yeah, you're gonna know my age. You're gonna be able to try to hack me, but if you do, please don't. So, hmm, because I am helping government agencies and blah 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 and honeypot and this and that. But I'm trying to help humanity to where the government agencies aren't needed. Because really, and this is coming from my professor, 20-year military veteran or veteran military intelligence, the main things that the government is concerned about are sex offenders and murder. That's it. Like, they don't really care about drugs as much anymore because we're starting to slowly legalize all of them. The ones we aren't legalizing, it's coming out that the government is mostly responsible for the influx of drugs during the Reagan years anyway. So the Reagan and Nixon, like Nixon started the war on drugs, trying to, because it was a great campaigning platform. Oh yes, we're gonna stop all the drugs, and so right there, every voter that had a niece or nephew that was addicted to like some kind of drug or using the devil's lettuce or whatever, it allowed for a lot of old hate to seep back in and be like, no, no, we don't need that. We need this country to be good and proper, and we need people to be able to, you know, blah 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 blah. But hold on, let me finish this thought real quick. So sometimes the medication actually causes problems, causes more problems. Whoops, that was the wrong one. More problems. Like depression, especially, it can cause weight gain. Like the medications for that, weight gain, thoughts of suicide. Like it can actually cause the very thing it's supposed to prevent. Especially if mismanaged. Like, and we're talking like if you forget to take your medication or if you took too much. I mean, usually it's not you took too much, because usually it's just people forget. They get busy. Mm. My particular issue was psychotropics. I was put on psychotropics. Let's actually do that. Psychotropics. Tropics can actually induce psychosis. Well, I don't have to keep saying actually. Can induce psychosis if mismanaged. Meaning, and the way they do it is they build it up in your system, so you're usually in like a hospital, something, psychosis, um, and then you have a healthy level of, this was lithium for me. I had to have a healthy level of lithium in my system before they could discharge me from the first mental hospital. And I was like, and I was only there because I wanted to take a 3 hour nap or even a 6 hour nap, and I did. I slept. I caught up because I'd been working 12-hour graveyard shifts building wind turbine blades on Adderall for like almost 2 years now, and I wasn't going hard the whole time, but we kept having strings of layoffs, so our team kept getting smaller and smaller, and it was during COVID, and people were already falling out and quitting and like going crazy, literally going insane, because the world was going insane. Like the world of COVID, especially when you're, swinging a hammer in the middle of the night doing very hard labor. And I was a crane operator. I was on the first aid first response team. I was a process instructor. I was wearing like three or four hats and doing planner work. So I was going and getting the supplies, which we actually had a planner that we paid to do that. I mean, he was an older guy. and he figured out how to game the system. He would do just enough work to where people wouldn't get mad, but like he couldn't get fired or laid off, but not really a good job. And he just settled into that, and he was lazy because he was able to. I mean, it's he found a way to go unnoticed, and he didn't realize how he was hurting the team, how everybody had to pick up the slack, even though the people would straight up tell him, be like, "Hey, we need you to do more than this." Mm. He was a nice guy, confused by Jesus and all that. Let's see, psychotropic can induce psychosis if mismanaged. And mismanaged, and then we'll do that, and then just put a D at the end, and hope it's spelled right. So the main concerns are depression, PTSD, and addiction. Which funny, and actually let's put this on this though. Mushrooms. Actually, let's do magic mushrooms, and I can never type psilocybin but magic mushrooms. And I'm not encouraging drug use by minors. Do not get me wrong. Like they are still illegal in many places, but here in Colorado, it is legal for adults. I want to say age 21 and older, and that's kind of something we really need to reevaluate as a society. I know, it's going to be really sad for the 18-year-olds to the 21-year-olds that can't go out and drink and get all drunk and stupid, but like that's still going to happen, but like in moderation. And as is the prefrontal cortex doesn't even finish developing. Your decision maker doesn't even fully develop until your mid to late 20s. So even voting, again, that's going to upset a lot of people, but even voting, I feel like should be put off. There should be like junior voting and then real voting. Like, I don't know. But it can't just happen overnight because we could end up with some really dictatorish type stuff because unfortunately the ones that do have the bleeding hearts, the bleeding heart liberals of, 18 to 30, they're necessary. Otherwise, we would just do business, 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 and then the people that have the power would retain the power. We kind of need that inner conflict. But, anyways, magic mushrooms treat all of those: depression, PTSD, and addiction. They do. They treat them. Depression, um, let's see, treat all three of those issues. I mean, ideally, we would fix the roots of the problem and get rid of the greed, get rid of the wealth inequalities, get rid of the real or perceived oppressions, all of that, because nobody needs billions of dollars anymore. You just don't. And we're getting it to where the average person can live comfortably on minimum wage. That's where we really need to be, because if we're going to have businesses survive and thrive and only be able to pay their workers so much, which they can. I mean, food service industry, especially fast food, they need cheap labor and they do need hard workers. And I'm thinking of McDonald's too. It's not the most glorious job, but I've had many friends work there. Many friends with drug substance use problems, and not really. I'd say more substance use, not substance abuse. Mm. But if you get caught with anything like that, in fact, one of my charges was right there, magic mushrooms back in the day. Felony, an F4 felony. Jail time, probation for a couple of years. They weren't really that serious about it because mushrooms usually aren't abused. Like they're not, you can't overdose on them. You can't, I mean, at least I don't think so, but I don't think anyone would. By the time you're halfway through eating a bunch, you'd be seeing funny colors and walls breathing, and you'd just be like off chilling and vibing with some inanimate object and just laughing and giggling and being stupid for 6 to 8 hours. Like, that's about all it is. But then behind the scenes, it is actually causing more synapses to flare in your brain. There's a lot more activity going on. We're studying it now. And I still need to read a lot of studies because I know what I know from my experiences. And I know what I've seen and heard from people saying, wow, that changed my life. I talked to God, or I had a realization that I don't need God right in my life to control my things. I can control myself. Like I can take accountability for myself, and that's what a lot of it is. It's these aha moments in a bag. I mean, but very dangerous, very potentially dangerous. But mental health, mental wellness, those are the main things. And yeah, and the war on drugs. drugs. Oops. Or AKA the war on hippies and black people. That's basically what it is. AKA war on hippies and black people. Because a little history lesson of the war on drugs. So back in the Nixon era, Nixon wanted to disrupt the hippies and black people because they were a demographic of voters and they were a strong opposition to the greed that is baked into Republican policies because they want to conserve. They want to keep things the way they are. They like the American dream where they have millions of dollars and yachts and fancy things. Not all of them, but the ones that don't have it, they want to get there and they want to make sure that there's still a light at the end of the tunnel for them to get there and be like, ah, now I can have these yachts and stuff, even though most of them never reach that. It's like winning the lottery, and why gambling is so popular. Because people see that, they don't have logic and probability baked into their thinking, so then they think, oh, I can be the one. And I'm totally guilty of this too. I was actually about to go buy a lotto ticket myself and play just the Colorado Lotto, which has a lot more chances of winning than the Mega Lotto or the Mega Millions or the Powerball. Those are almost impossible to win. Hmm. But the statistics and probabilities, if you had the same, 20, no, or same so many numbers, and you just kept playing the same ones over and over and over again, eventually it will hit those numbers. Now, how much you might spend? At least a few thousand on tickets. And so, I don't know, war on hippies and black people. Sorry, back to the Nixon thing. So they injected crack cocaine into the projects. They had people selling that and pushing it, and they came up. I don't even know who came up with crack cocaine, but cocaine has been around since the old Western days. They used to have it in tinctures, and they'd have it in cough syrup. Like you'd have opium, cocaine, like all of these things in there. And then before they realized, wait, some of this stuff might be dangerous or it could be abused. Hmm. Much like we have pharmaceutical abuse now, but the war on drugs, aka war on hippies and black people, it was all about government policy and elections. It was trying to paint black people as dangerous, as thugs, and they proved it right. I mean, anybody would have. If anybody got hooked on crack, like you would have some pretty dark times. You would need. It's very similar as meth. Meth, crack, and heroin are probably the most addicting. I'd say meth and heroin are the most addicting. Crack, like you're addicted for a few days, but often people, unless they have a source nearby and they just have a bunch of money, and even then, it's all temporary. I know several people that have done all the drugs and they've come back from it. So, actually, that's good for now. Let's just we'll go into specific stories, but we need it now. Get away from the chickens! Stop it! I mean, at least they can't get in there. I suppose there's a silver lining there, but like, oh, that is just so annoying. Leave my chickens alone. Hi, chickens. Oh, well, let's just go into that. Let's make you a little more room. Can we do that without killing you? And it's hard because you can't just make little... Oh, oh no! Dang it. Alright, I'm not doing very well raising chickens. Okay. So, anyways, let's see. Actually, we're almost done with this episode, but that's important. So, mental wellness, and it doesn't have to be like in Colorado. We're very lucky. We have the mountains. We can just go for a hike. We can go walk around. We can go see the awe-inspiring sights, much like here in Minecraft. I mean, but like they're real in real life, so they're a little more awe-inspiring than a bunch of blocks. But still, the concept is very similar. It's where, oh, we go up, like, yeah, we're doing a little hike right now. We're just climbing to the top, getting a better perspective on our surroundings, and being able to see the beauty of nature on a macro level. And this is just simulated nature, of course, but I still feel like this inspires some awe. Like, look at that. It's just so beautiful. That's why I want to have, in fact, let's go even higher. And this is totally what I would do in real life if I was hiking a climbing trail or a hiking trail. Walk to the top, go look out, and just be amazed. And this is where it gets cheesy. You could attribute this to God, you could attribute this to natural happenstance, you could attribute this to I don't know what creates this, but the reason that so many people have issues with religion and God is because it gives a lot of credit to somebody that we don't know exists. Like, and even talking about like ancient aliens, that's the more thing that I'm starting to believe is more real. Like the more immediate direct God or creator is probably some alien that came down, bred us to mine gold, and then periodically comes down and gets that gold or something. I don't know. Like, but that's what I would do if I came across a species on another planet and I needed these minerals and stuff, and I would raise them to. I mean, we do it in our video games all the time. Like, we have all sorts of video games that mimic that type of behavior. It's like, and we almost enslave them, but then, like, oh no, no, they're treating. And Rick and Morty again for the win. Like, the microverse episode, or the teenyverse, or whatever they end up calling it. Um, I think it's a miniverse, microverse. I don't know. Anyways, his car battery. So a little bit of spoilers there. If you haven't watched Rick and Morty, go check it out and like pause this and go check it out. But the gist of the whole episode is his car battery has an entire civilization in it powering it. Like they step on these generators and they the Google Flanks or Google Cranks or whatever, and there's multiple instances or multiple iterations of this happening to where his car battery, the people in there get so smart that they create their own car battery, but they don't make it for a car battery. They make it to replace the slavery machines that Rick, the almighty God and alien visitor, whatever, that brought them this technology, actually created them in a box to power his car, came down and told them what to do. And then he comes down to check on them because it's not working anymore. And they're like, oh yeah. And the story was is they would take this waste energy off into this volcano to safely dispose of. But really that was the energy going to the car to power the car. So, um, yeah. So this is kind of funny. And then he finds out that, yeah, the people in his battery developed the technology to, just like if we were to develop the technology to make our own simulations, to make our own little worlds where everything can be perfect or chaotic or whatever. We can make it whatever we want. We are literally gods of our own design when we make video games. Now, not the greatest of gods, not the greatest of creators, where we could be like, ah, yes, the people in here are just about as good as us. Like, no, we're not there yet. In fact, Neil deGrasse Tyson has a really good Star Talk episode on simulations. I'll have to try to put. What I need to do is, uh, I guess we should talk about that too. So you got to remember that everything is going to be all right. Everything's going to be okay. It's hippy dippy, it's hokey, but if you do ever end up doing hallucinogens, or hopefully you go to a clinic and do it legally, but you might not. You might not have the time, money, effort, or um the braves, like the what is that called? Like the nerves, the courage. There you go. You might not have the courage to go seek out that therapy, and we're fixing that. By we, common sense people, people that realize that when we arrest people and throw them in jail for, substances, we actually cause most of the mental health issues, the wealth inequality issues, especially for people drinking too. And I used to be a drinker for a long time, just because that's all I thought I could do. I was like, well, this makes me happy. I can control my happy, and like I can turn it on and off like a faucet. Like if I'm having a bad day or if I had a rough day, I can look forward to a beer at the end of the day, which will relax, it'll numb me out, it'll slow my thinking, it'll just relax. It's like that bantha bath that Luke Skywalker jumps in, only it's in a bottle and it's very accepted. And if it's much accepted around the world, it must be safe. And that's why I worry about places like Dubai and Saudi Arabia. Like, they're on the verge of legalizing alcohol, and I just want to be like, no, you should just skip alcohol and go right to cannabis. Like, yeah, sure, legalize alcohol, just so you're not, like, cutting people's hands off and throwing them in prison, causing some really messed up problems for people. But yeah, because I think they still have the death penalty for being gay. Like they're still a little backwards over there, and it's not. And backwards isn't the best name. It's less civilized, but they're still civilized. I mean, they're still. And I'm not trying to mean like any disrespect to any people, but they aren't aware of what's happening because they haven't had the experimentation of all of this going on. Actually, let's just go ahead and just get the feather. Thank you. Um, yeah, because now they're coming out of the woodwork for chickens and ocelots and stuff. So, but given enough time and enough cultural mixing, because a lot of people from the Middle East and Europe and Asia are coming to school in America. They're coming to college towns. And guess what? There's a lot of drugs in college towns, so they're finding out all sorts of what it's like to be an American and realizing the real problems that we need to solve are how we treat each other on the ground level. We need to have a macro level view of all these things. Oh, there we go. In order to start fixing these things onesie twosie at the base. And then once you have a good solid foundation, look at me talking like a Freemason, which I'm not, by the way. But like, I'd hate for people to think that I'm some kind of fancy, secret agent or something. Or like, nah. I thought about joining the Freemasons back in the day, but one of the requirements was you had to have people just come and stay at your house. You had to open your doors to other Freemasons. I was like, I don't like that. I'm not gonna do that. Like, if you want to come stay at my house, I have to know you, and I have to know what you're about. I'm not just gonna willy nilly. And that's the thing, because many people have done things like cults, secret societies, all sorts of different things to try to preserve the good life, or to make sure that people don't just come in and take the good life for nothing. And that's why people are so afraid of the southern border. Wait, how far are we at really? Yeah, we're over at 30 minutes. So I'll leave it there, but we're gonna start breaking some real ground here, understanding issues, and we're gonna see some amazing sights while we do it. 'Cause already, like this is, you can't see it as much in the dark here, but there's just so much beauty in this world that is literally made up of blocks. Like, just imagine, yeah, how great things are gonna be. So, all right, ta ta for now. I will see you in the next one.